Welcome to the rice fields, motherfucker!
Hello everyone and welcome to today's review of the VT-5 Chinese Tier 9 light tank. This is the, I think it's the only light tank available to the Chinese in the game. Apparently that's a light tank. Okay, it's the one of only two light tanks available to the Chinese dealer in Armoured Warfare, and it is, I'm going to straight off the bat saying that this is one of the most powerful vehicles that have ever been introduced to Armoured Warfare. It is a vehicle of extremes, extreme DPS and DPM in some way, but poor alpha damage mean that you need to trade at least 2 shots to every enemy's 1. It has missiles, but ultimately they're not very good. It has poor front armor, but has excellent side armor. It has an engine boost and very good power to weight until it gets to 32, but after that it's a little bit slow. This is a vehicle of many faces, and today we're going to have a look at those. And I understand that not many people that will ever have access to the VT-5 outside of the premium codes that I gave out a couple of months ago. The loot boxes, events, tournaments, or just being straight up given them. So one of the purposes of this video will include a pre-recorded segment from one of my live streams and another one simply talking about it. But first, let's have a look at its stats, and let's compare it with the other 2 light tanks on its tier, the WP Anders and the Thunderbolt 2. We can see right off the bat that the VT-5 has the worst damage and penetration of the 3, having 620 compared to 690 and 725, 500 compared to 530 and 590. However, its DPM is skyrocketing above the WP Anders and just a little bit better than the Thunderbolt, as well as the fact it has the second highest reload time out of all of them, with having almost a second higher reload time with the Thunderbolt 2, which actually matters more than you would think. And the WP Anders intra-clip time means that it's just a tad higher than the VT-5's reload time. It also has the most hit points of the 3, the lowest hull armor, frontally speaking, but also the highest side armor, the joint highest turret, but it's not really that good to begin with. They also have the same top speed, however the VT-5 is also the heaviest of the trio and has the second best hold reverse. It is slightly less agile, well it is slightly more agile than the WP Anders, which can be best described as a bit ungainly compared to the very nimble and fast Thunderbolt. It also has significantly worse gun depression than the Thunderbolt 2 and roughly the same as the WP Anders, with the WP Anders having better deviation. But the VT-5, due to having roughly the smallest gun out of the 3, has the best aim time. However, its turret reverse is also significantly less as well. Commander-wise, I would recommend taking Juan, who gives you a bonus of relatively good light tank stats: Instigator, Foot Down, Anti-Material Explosives, Personal Example, Stabilization, and Fighting Spirits. However, the Fighting Spirits aren't really going to come that much in handy simply because of, well, the auto-loader. In that case, you could try taking Freya, who will give you a relatively general buff if you want. Or you could take Sabrina, who is primarily an AFE commander. However, the crew, the Giant Killer, and Anti-Material Explosives combined with the others give you a nice little buff to your stats as well. However, I would say that Juan is the preeminent light tank commander. Overall speaking, like I said before, you have a relatively weak gun, however you fire very fast. So this damage does quickly add up. You do 36. So I'd say take 36 AP, 10 heat and 8 missiles for those times in which you kind of need to fire behind a hill. They won't be that particularly useful versus tier 9 and 10, but versus tier 8 and 7 they could still be useful, and as well as the fact you can fire them on K21 Sphinxes, T15s, Cornets and well, the like that as well. Overall speaking, since you're at tier 9 you should also be using the crates and the cabinets now, as long as the improved fire extinguisher. fire extinguisher everywhere. There will be heat rounds and missiles flying just about everywhere, and you do not want to be caught by them. I would say taking this is possibly the most balanced loadout out of all of them. You will be constantly moving, so you're going to want that improved filter systems and the augmented optics, as well as the gun breach to buff your reload time all the way down to that sweet 7.1, as well as the improved Pioneer toolkit. This Pioneer toolkit can be also combined with the driver's field repair, which will give you a 60% boost to your field track and wheel repair, which is good, as well as off-road driving to help with the acceleration off-road. Driver wise, I would say I don't want to do that game, my apologies. I would also say go for off-road driving as well and field repair. And then gunner wise, preemptive maintenance. A lot of the enemies will be hitting your flat turret cheeks, and there is a good chance they might hit your gun instead, so aim for that and go either for sharpshooter or do the twist. Other retrofits you could use are in no particular order: reinforced ammo rack, survivability kit, reinforced wheels, air induction pre-cleaner, or your turret drive. They provide a general buff to your vehicle, however this is the more generalist playstyle that many people, if they had them, would likely be using. Now, the vehicle's protection system. The way to take out the VT-5 is very simple. You shoot at its track. You track it, it can't do anything, it's dead. Even though the vehicle has the engine boost ability, which will boost it from 0 to 71, which is its top speed, if you track it, it can't do that. Or once you do that, it is very vulnerable indeed. It can't flank you, instead it has to face you head on, and in your tier 9 or 10 or maybe even 8 MBT, that is where it is most vulnerable, as it can no longer track you and it can no longer go through the sides. Any tank in the game that it faces will be able to penetrate its front armor, as it's relatively thin. Same goes for the steel as well. However, I would not recommend auto aiming with it, as there is a very good chance that this has happened to me, in which players will auto aim at your upper plate and they will just bounce off. However, as you can see here, the vehicle is protected by heavy ERA, and this is very, very good. Versus its own EP rounds, it literally cannot penetrate itself from the side until you get into almost a flat angle territory, to which then you can. However, there is that very funny little sliver there, so manual aim is the aim of the game here. However, as you can see here, its ammo rack is in the back of the turret, so if you can't get a shot at the side, shoot at that ammo rack. Once you get its reload time up, that driver is going to be in a lot of trouble. Heat rounds have roughly the same idea as well, however there is a little bit less of the vehicle to aim at. You can still aim the turret cheeks and everything, as well as the engine deck, that bit there, and I would always support shooting in the tracks. Good job the AI don't have this, otherwise it would have been the apocalypse, am I right? And lastly, missiles, or heat rounds with roughly high enough penetration, do have a relatively decent chance of going through the vehicle. However, I still don't recommend this, as you'd be better off firing at AP, and there are also those gaps in the armor as well, which, you're firing AP, it's pretty much a guaranteed chance once you're from this angle. As well as the fact that AP has better chances versus angles and everything, whereas missiles, as you very well know, can often change in flight and direction, and you really don't want to have those ERA panels turn red. Alright, let's go on to some games. One of these games will be a pre-recorded game, so that will be up first, and the second one will be the closing statements of the vehicle, and also the game itself. So, for now, going up north is probably going to be a bad idea, because that's where all the tier 10s are going to be. If I go middle, I'm going to get spotted by the corner. If I go south is probably the best idea with this. I imagine, yeah, the PTS going up is going to really affect some things. it's... I might play the PTS, I'm not sure. I mean, talking about matches they're apparent. Yeah, I guess. That's nice, let them talk. I don't really have that many problems with people. I mean, then again, most of my, you know, interactions with Russians have been, or people who speak Cyrillic, since none of them really say, has usually been a lot of abuse, so it's actually quite different to have people who just speak normally. This time should be moving up. Tree. Leopard. Not really sure that amount of AGDMs is useful for the current APS meta. I haven't actually restarted this yet.
Identify.
See if we can shoot this stupid leopard again. There we go. Damn it. Now I'm spotted. There he is, he's down there. Please name the top players from Europe. Very interesting. I don't know, somebody else can do that. Where's this leopard? Come on, get that gun ready. Come on. There we go. Much better. Yeah, I know there's a real chance of me actually running out of AP rounds. Is this PTS or NA? This is the EU server. Let's go for this leopard. Oh shit, hey Merc. Ooh, ooh, back up, back up, back up, back up, back up. Oh, I had a kill shot on that guy right there. Just gotta figure out what this... Okay, he's down there. Sphinx, are you sure about this? Come on. Come on, shoot that ammo rack. Come on.
They nailed us. They almost hit us.
What is with this fucking turret reverse? Jesus.
More hits.
Using...
We took a hit. Shit, track's damaged.
Using my fucking engine boost as well, and he's still fast enough to out-turn. Got any weak spots for the tanks that are like nukes, one-shot kill? Except framing for the ammo rack, which apparently didn't really help on this case. Not really. Come on. Well, there's no way I'm going to win this, so my best bet is just to go for the corner. Neck is a bit itchy though. Just a corner to come around.
Identify. Hostile truck. Target locked. Smoke grenade out.
I did 6,650. I'll take it. You see, the last game here we're going on is actually, we are actually going to look at the previous game, which was on Ghost Field. As you can see there, some guy got Order of Resistance, however 6,650 damage dealt, 842,000 credits, extremely good damage, 3,400 to the Merkava, a couple of shots to the Wilk, and 2 heat rounds to the Wilk, who was not enjoying that. We got top of the team and did the second highest amount of damage in the game. As you can see there, it is a relatively accurate gun with 3 misses, 3 enemies damaged, and 0 damage blocked as we were facing up against tier 10 there. So, it happens. And I believe I also took some damage from falling damage, which is probably what hurt, but well, whatever. And as you can see, we also did the assistance damage of 5,394. Feast your eyes. It's a pretty good vehicle. We'll go on to the last game now, which will be on Cold Strike. This is one of the funnier games I've had, as one of the enemies did kind of screw up there. So right now here, I did initially think we had the disadvantage here, as they had a Cornet. When piloted by a good player, a Cornet is absolutely devastating, but we do have a Type 99A2 who is very well frontally armoured. They have a WP Anders, who is the most dangerous threat to me here, as he has that unmanned turret. The Merkava 4 as well has the clip reload, and they reload. Am I talking like fucking Scooby-Doo now? Doesn't matter. And they also have the Type 99A as well, which is the Type 99A2's little brother, who is still mostly frontally impenetrable to me. So for now, I'm going to go to this spot in the map here. It's the usual skirmisher point for light tanks and stuff, as they are able to nip between both ends of the map. However, you can get caught in a crossfire, and if you do, you will die. The VT-5 is far more agile than the WP Anders, but in my honest opinion, the Thunderbolt is the true light tank king of Tier 9. The VT-5 simply doesn't have the punch or the mobility of the Thunderbolt, as well as it doesn't have the awesome penetration and gun handling either. So as you can see there, going down that slope really helped with the speed. And we are going to go to the middle part first. We have a Type 99A2 joining us, an A down there, and a Leopard. And the enemy here will make several mistakes that you will probably be able to point out relatively quickly. First off, I have no idea what that Cornet was doing there. The bottom end of the map is referred to as the retard corner for good reason, as people can and will be there, and once they're there, they're trapped. Whereas in the city, you have a lot more places to go. So, WP Anders coming up, and we are going to punish him. 524 damage there. Loading heat rounds now, 579. Another one. This vehicle does rack up damage incredibly quickly, and we killed him. Ding dong! See? It goes really well. Alright, let's see what's up next. So we're using the nice little view range we have here. What was it, 470 meters or something? And now we have a Type 99A to deal with. So when it comes to dealing with MBTs in any light tank, you want to get to the point of which you are below them and when they can't auto-aim you. You see, this guy is probably hasn't met for a VT-5 for the first time, and he does make a critical mistake. Imagine what's going to happen here. Just about to do this in any light tank. Tracking shot. Tracking shot. Okay, not yet. He's used his repair kit, but he's going to come down again, and this is what absolutely kills him. You watch this. And for whatever reason, this guy was shooting me in the side instead of in the turret, and now we're happily just murdering his ass. There's nothing he can do. The VT-5 is an incredibly dangerous opponent, and this guy has just learned that out. If I was that type, I would have instead gone to that rock and made it so that me in the VT-5 would have had to come face him frontally. The VT-5 needs to penetrate things, and this is most of the time on the side. Frontally penetrating stuff like the Type 99 wouldn't have happened if it had been able to do that. So take that as a lesson from the guy. Please don't do that. Closing statements wise, as I said before, this is one of the most powerful vehicles in the game. And if you have the opportunity to get one, I would get it. That's about it, really. I rate this 1 Chinese server out of 10. That's it for now, guys. I hope you enjoyed the review, and I hope you will be better equipped to prepare for VT-5s as you now know what you're up against. Like, comment, subscribe, and at the moment I'm trying to see if I can get a new jacket for me, as the winter nights are starting to happen, and then I've probably discovered that most of my jackets have holes in them. Sucks to be me, am I right? So take care everyone, and see you all next time.